Marrakesh in Morocco is proving a very popular tourism destination at the moment. My name's Stuart Forster, I'm an award-winning travel writer, and I'd like to share some ideas about things to do and see when you're in Marrakesh. Buses do run from the airport into the city, but one of the things that I found was super easy was pre-paying a taxi at the airport. There's a booth where you can do that. I think it would have been very difficult to find our accommodation, the Demiraz d'Orient Riyadh Deluxe and Spa, if it had not been for getting a taxi. The taxi driver called the Riyadh when we were close to it, and they came out and opened the door. Despite being just a couple of meters away from it at the time, we just couldn't see it. So getting a taxi took all the stress out of the journey there. The Riyadh proved an excellent place to stay. It was comfortable, it was welcoming, we had good breakfast each day, and it was just a short walk from most of the attractions of the city. It also had its own hammam. That's a traditional bath where we could have a massage and relax after one of our days out. Experiencing a traditional hammam is definitely one of the top things to do while you're in Marrakesh. Marrakesh has places to eat out to suit every budget really. The local dishes are packed with flavour, but be warned the wine is pretty expensive. Le Jardin Secret, or the Secret Garden, is one of the top places to visit within the centre of the city. It's a restored riad with a garden at its heart, and it provides an insight into the traditional palaces of bygone times. It provides insights into how water was transported into the city and stored, and is very much a serene contrast to the busy streets beyond its walls. I enjoyed sitting under the ornately decorated pavilion before heading up to the rooftop terrace. The tower within the secret garden offers fine views over the city, and it's a good place to visit to orientate. Access is by guided tour only. The historic heart of Marrakesh is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and well worth exploring. Every now and again, a break for mint tea was very welcome. It's a popular local drink and very refreshing. It pays to take comfortable footwear to Marrakesh because it's easy to walk for kilometres and kilometres while sightseeing. Following the city walls is definitely a way of getting your steps in. The walls date from the 12th century and were built by the Almoravid dynasty that established the city. Yet it was viewing the comings and goings of contemporary life that was actually one of the joys of following the city walls. The Menorah Mall is about a 15-minute walk from the city walls. It proved a good spot to get lunch before heading back towards the Kasbah. The Grand Bab Aghanou Gate is worth pausing to appreciate before entering the Kasbah. The Kasbah is the citadel district of the city, and it's home to the royal palaces and other key attractions and beautifully presented shops. El Badi Palace is likely to appeal if you're into your history. Displays within the palace convey how it once was. The palace was constructed in the 1570s by Marrakesh's Sardian rulers, whose impressive mausoleums are nearby. Take your pick from the many rooftop cafes in the area where you can sit, relax and enjoy sunset views over the city. After a few days of being in Marrakesh, I got to feel like I knew the city streets, the alleys and the lanes. But as a tip, I'd say it's well worthwhile downloading a map of the city onto your phone so you can orientate. And because data from my UK service provider was proving very expensive, I think it's worthwhile getting an eSIM while you're in Marrakesh. It was also worth carrying a torch because there were a couple of very short power cuts while we were over there, and having a torch handy proved worthwhile. I thought Bahia Palace was excellent. I really enjoyed visiting, and one of the things there is to arrive early so that you avoid the crowds a little bit and be ready to look up at the ceilings. It's got some gorgeous carved ceilings, and the courtyards are also very... In my opinion, the best meal of our trip was at the Moroccan Culinary Arts Museum. It's a great place to visit. It's a beautiful building. It's a restored riad with a museum, and on the rooftop there's a tourist restaurant. If you enjoy people watching, definitely head to the Jamaa El Fnaa Square after nightfall. Tickets for the popular Yves Saint Laurent Museum are only available online. Visits to the museum and the associated Jardin Majorel mean that you're then well placed for exploring Gouliz, the new town of Marrakesh. I thought it offered an interesting contrast to the more historic part of the city. I thought it was really interesting to experience the sensory overload on re-entering the more historic part of the city. The colours, the smells, and even the noise. Overall, I felt safe while I was in Marrakesh. You do though have to keep your eyes and ears open for people around you, with motorbikes, cycles, and even transporting goods on the streets. If I was to name one single thing that I really did enjoy while I was over in Marrakesh, I think it would be the local cuisine. Next time I would definitely book a cooking lesson at the Morocco Museum of Culinary Arts. I found it useful to have local currency while I was in Morocco. Yes, some transactions could be conducted with credit cards and debit cards, but having cash to pay in cafes and in local shops did prove very handy. I think respecting local customs by dressing slightly conservatively is also worthwhile. I visited in December, and while it never really felt cold, it was definitely worthwhile having a jacket for the evening. For more tips and ideas on what to see and do in Marrakesh, please check out my blog post on Go Eat Do. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great time in Marrakesh.